Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Baltimore Ravens have waived Diontae Johnson, and the trade deadline move for Baltimore has not panned out. Diontae Johnson was having a lot of success in Carolina. I mean, he was playing great football. I mean, he had, he had some really good games. I mean, he had a game against Vegas where he had 122 receiving yards and a touchdown. Against Cincinnati, the next game, he had 83 receiving yards and a touchdown. Against Vegas with the Panthers, he had 78 receiving yards and a touchdown. But a big problem with Diontae Johnson is efficiency. With Carolina this year, he had his great moments. 7 games, he had 357 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns. He was averaging 51 receiving yards a game. So he has his really good games, like I mentioned, against Vegas and Cincinnati and Atlanta. Some really good games against those teams, but he has some really bad games as well, where like 19 receiving yards against against the Saints, or it's 15 receiving yards against the Chargers, or it's 17 receiving yards against the Commanders, or 23 against the Bears. So some really bad games with the Panthers with that. So then he gets traded to the Ravens. They give up a 5th round pick to get him. Thank God they didn't give up more, because I heard rumors that Carolina wanted more than a 5th round pick with the way Diontae Johnson was playing in Carolina. He only has 1 reception in 4 games. Well, I don't think he actually played in the first game against Denver. I think he did, but he didn't get any targets. But 5 targets, only caught 1 ball for 6 yards. Yes, you could say they should have thrown the ball to him more, but he was not playing good when he was on the field either. Had a lot of mistakes on the field too, and it was really bad. The experiment was really bad. And I think the only thing you could say that Baltimore is really lucky about is that they didn't give up more to get him. Now, I think this move could end up hurting them. It could, and I'm going to say why. Now, I don't think you're going to lose anything that was helping you on the field by making this roster cut, since literally he only had 6 receiving yards in 4 games on the team. So I don't think you're losing anything. But here's the thing. I'm going to point this out. So the Texans right now are kind of in a wide receiver. They could use a wide receiver as of right now. They lost Stephon Diggs for the season. I'm a Texans fan, by the way. So I wouldn't mind the Texans adding in Diontae Johnson. Now, I don't think he's an amazing guy. I wouldn't think he could be a number 1 or number 2, but the Texans really could use a guy who could be wide receiver 3 or maybe even wide receiver 2 right now. I think the Texans are probably looking at guys who've recently been cut, like Odell Beckham Jr. or Diontae Johnson, and I think the Texans are probably looking at guys like that. And not to mention, Wednesday, the Texans play the Ravens. So could you imagine if Monday, when Diontae Johnson comes, he comes up and is available to sign with teams or get claimed, Texans maybe, let's just say the Texans pick him up, then very well possibly on Christmas, Diontae Johnson might play against his former team on Christmas Day. Now, I think if the Texans claim Diontae Johnson, I don't know the likelihood that he actually plays against the Ravens. My bet, you would love to see him play against his former team if he wants some revenge, but I don't think that would happen, because he'd only be on the team for a couple days. You're talking about if the Texans pick him up on Monday, they play Wednesday, that just wouldn't happen. He wouldn't play, but if they did bring him in, if they did bring him in on Monday, let him play on Wednesday against the Ravens. That's one way this could actually hurt the Ravens even more. But I truly doubt that if the Texans brought him in, that he would play Wednesday. But it could hurt him in that way. But yeah. So and that will be a big game for them on Christmas against the Texans. So yeah. But I think this was the right move for the Ravens. You still have Zay Flowers. You have Rashad Bateman. Nelson Aguilar is out in their game tomorrow against Pittsburgh, but he's a good wide receiver too as well to have. You have Tylan Wallace. I really like him too. So I think the Ravens will be fine. But I think this really stinks because I think everybody was really excited to bring him in and really failed massively. I'm going to hear your thoughts on the roster move for the Ravens in the comment section, and peace out.